I would go to her and be like, but I feel like because you hate Zach so much, like you're forgetting to separate that I'm your best friend. Like you can, like, it's going to make me cry. Like you can hate him, but you can still like be there for me. And she never was. And she like watched the internet, like just harp onto it. For a fucking year. And like this started in May. Like I went to her in May and I was like, Grace, like, you know everything that I'm going through. And you like, thank you. And you still like refuse to defend me online because it like helps build you up.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about something else.
I ended me and Grace's, I ended our friendship.
How are you guys doing?
Good. We're texting last night. She loved the diss track.
Is it improving now that like he's out of the picture?
No, me and Grace will always be fine.
We didn't talk anymore. Like,
we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do.
Sorry if I'm not myself tonight. I'm going through a divorce. It's a very common type of divorce with just a few minor differences. For example, it's not a marriage, it was a 15-year friendship. She's not keeping the house, she's keeping the podcast. And when it came to the kids, we took a very progressive approach. Instead of doing shared custody, we're letting the kids decide who they want to go with.
Hello and welcome to Influencer Police, a place where we expose the lies, the cheating, and the dirty ways of these filthy influencers. Well, Brie, it didn't last very long. The internet doesn't like you again. I'm Chief Coconut, and this is Influencer Police. Buckle the fuck up. Oh my gosh, you guys, I haven't talked to you guys in a hot ass minute. I've been so busy. The holiday seasons are the busiest time. I've got so much going on, so I've definitely been slacking on making videos on here, but hopefully it'll calm down and I can make videos like way more regularly again. But I definitely did want to hop onto this topic that's going on right now because, as you know, on this channel we've covered a lot about Brianna Chicken Fry and Grace. We've made multiple videos at this point talking about different subjects, and we even made a huge expose video on Brianna Chicken Fry herself. So if you haven't seen that, please go watch. It's literally like 2 hours and 30 minutes or 3 hours. I don't fucking remember, bitch, but it's fucking long, bitch. We cover so much of that shit. And I think we're the only ones to do it so far. So please, that took so much work. But of course, there's more drama because Brianna Chicken Fry just is drama. And she brings it all in herself. So after the whole Zach Bryan thing, her declining his money and wanting to be kind of an example for women and not wanting to be silenced, the internet kind of like, we're like, oh, okay, like I can respect you for that. And I feel like the internet was finally, after a really long time, kind of giving her a little break. You know, we're kind of like, oh, let's hope that this is a new leaf for Brianna. But of course, no. Brie is just who she is, and I don't think that's ever going to change. Even though, you know, we were hoping that it was, because I'm always going to hope that people change for the better, but it really doesn't look like she is. So, as you guys know, there has been a lot of, I'll say the girls are fighting. Bree and Grace, you know, they're best friends for 15 years. They hosted the Plan Bree podcast for a good minute now. And recently, like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, it all popped off that they were no longer doing the podcast. And Grace posted an Instagram story basically saying she was like blindsided from it, but she's going to keep it moving along. Now, in my opinion about Grace's Instagram story, the BFF pod with Bree, Josh, and Dave really blew her post to like wild proportions. I really don't think that her post said anything super crazy in it. And Grace has been really silent about a lot of the Brianna situation and her feelings towards Zach, the Plan Bree. I mean, she really hasn't given us much of anything. Like, there's been a little shady, you know, things in here, like the birthday party and all that, but really, like, we haven't gotten much from Grace at all. And this was the first time that she was really speaking to us, actually saying something. And she basically just said that she was a little blindsided from it ending and she's going to move on with her life. So, of course, Brianna just takes this and just runs with this motherfucking, like, post and basically says that Grace knew that this was going to stir the pot and throw her under the bus and make her look really bad. And the whole BFF pod is kind of agreeing with this, especially Dave. Apparently after Grace posted this, Dave reached out to Grace and was like, that post was not cool. Like, we all don't appreciate that post. And like, how did you not think it was going to blow up into like hatred for Brianna? And Grace told him like, that was not my intentions. Like, I'm hurt by this situation and I wanted to say something. Which she has every fucking right to, bitch. So that brings us into the BFF pod, where Brianna is talking about her and Grace's friendship, or I guess not so much of a friendship anymore, and the ending of Bree and Grace's podcast together. And I watched that portion of the podcast. Now, let me say something, just really quick note about that fucking episode. They bring on this girl named Tate or some motherfucking shit like that. And when I first saw this girl, I literally thought this girl was Brianna. I literally thought that was Brianna sitting there. Like, it's basically a Brianna clone. I don't know where they found this girl. I don't know who this girl is. But she is Brianna's clone. I think she added nothing to that podcast. And I don't even think she should not have even been there during that segment. Like, not her place to be there. And she also added completely nothing. And is this like who Bree's gonna try to replace Grace with? Her clone? I don't fucking know what's going on, bitch. If anyone knows who that girl is, please, you know, let me know. Because I don't know. Nor do I really fucking care, to be honest. But, you know, if you know who she is, not to be like totally rude or anything, because like I don't know you, so like no hate, but really you look like Brianna's clone. I could not tell the difference. She kind of almost looks like Bree pre-surgery a little bit, but I just thought that was like just an interesting little thing I noticed from the podcast.
I literally saw you and I was like, wait, what the fuck? I thought it was me.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, they're definitely gonna get us mixed up.
A few moments later.
Are there two Brees?
Right?
What the fuck is going on?
I know.
Isn't that crazy? I sat down, I was like, wait, whoa.
Now let's talk about what Brianna said in that podcast. Basically, all I fucking heard from Brianna during that segment of the podcast was her using the word I a lot. She said the word I probably like 200 fucking times, bitch. Because what I've noticed with Brianna is, one, she's delusional. Two, she's really self-absorbed. And three, she seems incredibly narcissistic, which kind of goes into the self-absorbed.
Good night to me. I love myself so much. I mean the world to me.
And I mean, we see this time and time again with her bad takes and just honestly being super delusional to so many things. I mean, there's been so many times she's had horrible takes and just straight up delusional. But this was definitely one of them, in my opinion. She mentions a lot that she's bothered by the fact that Grace has never publicly made a statement defending Bree and kind of having her back in the public eye when Grace knows she's getting backlash. And she said she would talk to Grace about this and that it bothered her that she wasn't publicly defending her about various things that are going on. And Bree claims that Grace did that to make herself look better and she enjoyed looking better and being the good one and all that. And for me, honestly, it's like maybe at a certain point of their friendship, I could see maybe Brianna having a place to be upset that Grace wasn't defending her publicly. But I feel like at this point of their relationship, she has no leg to stand on. This girl literally basically threw her whole friendship away with Grace for the C-list babyface Zach Bryan.
Grace, I got you a job because you have no job. Did you know you have no job? Oh my gosh, Bree, thank you. I hope I don't owe you anything for it. As long as people don't like you more than me, then we'll be fine. Oh my gosh, you're dating Zach Bryan? I hope I like him. Hey Grace, it's me, Zach. She's mine now, so you can leave. I hate him. He's horrible to you. You should leave. Well, you've never had a boyfriend, so finally, out of that shitty relationship. Yeah, but you're not posting on social media, supporting me. Well, yeah, you've never posted once about my comedy career, so yeah, because I'm the star of the show. Remember, you had no job? Yeah, I know, I had no job, but I just didn't feel very close to you during that time. I'm canceling the podcast. I found new friends, and I love Taylor Swift now. Wait, why? Because you're more popular than me now? You didn't post about me? Okay, fine, then I'm making a post about it, because I don't have a job, so I have time to do that. I don't know if I'm fully healed from this relationship, actually. Maybe I should take a break from the online stuff. Sounds like you could use a friend that's known you for a long time. No. I have friends that are less famous than me now. Thanks.
Apparently, Brianna says that they did not get along. So much so that they basically never hung out or saw each other. And I believe she said they only hung out together with Bree 9 times or less. And Brianna was with Zach Bryan for like a year or something. So you're telling me that your best friend of 15 years hated this man so much, or something really, like, some bad shit was going on so bad that you can only muster up the courage to be around this guy 9 times out of a whole year? But that's your alleged 15-year friendship that you also run a podcast with, so it's a business, and they've only hung out with Zach Bryan together 9 times? That's a little crazy to me. That is a little fucking crazy to me. And obviously we know that, I'm going to say allegedly so I don't get sued. Obviously we know that allegedly Zach Bryan is a big piece of shit. And allegedly was abusive to Bree and a super crazy weirdo. And I'm not taking anything from that from Bree. And I'm sure that was difficult to handle. But just from my perspective, if anyone has ever had a best friend of years and years and years and years and years, to the point of like a Grace and Bree, but even more so even, you know that, I mean, I would hope that you would feel like what I'm kind of feeling right now. Like, I'm thinking about my best friend that I had, which I'm no longer friends with because of just growing apart and also other things, not a relationship or anything. But I'm thinking about the time when I was really, really good with my best friend. I would never in a million years date someone that my best friend was so uncomfortable with that I basically had to like completely end that friendship and like cut her out and then she could only muster up the courage to hang out with the guy I'm seeing like 9 times out of a year. And I knew there was this big tension and this big divide. I no. Hell no. I can't, no. If someone I'm super close with, like if my sister was to really not like a guy I was dating, or someone I really fucking cared about that's been in my life forever or years, had such a problem with who I'm dating, I would cut off that man in 5 seconds, because I know that is a huge red flag, and I trust who has been with me, you know? And I respect their opinion and their boundaries and their feelings. So already off the bat, that's fucking weird of Brie to continue that relationship. And it makes me wonder, like, she likes to claim that she didn't like him for the clout. She didn't like him for the fame. But I'm trying to think of a narcissist and just a fame-seeking person on the internet. And I mean, I feel like that'd be a big attraction. His clout and fame. Do you really think that Brianna Chicken Fry would have given that guy even a glance if he wasn't rich, famous, and a musician? I mean, like, can we be so fucking real here? She likes to claim that's not why she liked him. I think it was a big part of why she liked him. And definitely why she, like, gave him a chance at first. And then she probably loved going to the award shows and being on backstage and meeting celebs. I mean, she probably loved it. So I feel like it's so fake. It's so fake that she's like, I didn't like him for his stardom. I liked him for who he was. But then later it's like, oh, he was a piece of shit and abusive. It's like, which one is it? So why were you with him? I don't get it. What were you attracted by exactly? I'm confused. Why is it? I don't get it, bitch. And we know that Grace isn't the problem in that situation because Brianna has said that Grace would literally sleep on the couch of, like, her living with her other boyfriends. Like, she lived with her other boyfriends where they were always there, and Grace would sleep on the couch. So if Grace could get along with all those other boyfriends and everything's just fine and she's super, super cool, she's just sleeping on the fucking couch with them. But then this one guy, there's a huge issue. She doesn't want to hang around him. Come on. Like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Is you dumb? Is you stupid? Shut your mouth, you ain't ready for this cloud, you ain't ready for this cloud, no. Smash for the cloud. But you know what I'm saying? So that is interesting that we got that information. And for me, in my opinion, that just makes Brianna look worse. I'm like, oh, so your best friend had a huge fucking problem with this guy and didn't even want to be around him, and then you just kept dating him? Okay. That's a little weird to me. I'm wondering what the reasons were and, like, what actually really happened. I don't know if we'll ever know, but I do wonder. So yeah, she just kept saying I. And another thing in this podcast that happened that really rubbed me the wrong way, and a lot of people the wrong way, because a lot of people are reacting to this. I'm late to react to this, but I'm going to talk about it because, bitch, I talk about this shit. Sorry that I'm late. But another thing about that podcast is she really tries to nail in the idea that she gave Grace everything she has, and in that sense, Grace owes her. Now, she doesn't actually say that, but it's like, I gave her a place to live, I gave her a job, I gave her her career, like, I got her in a bar stool. And it's like, yes, that may be true, like, you helped her out when your friend was in need, and you got her the opportunity for a job. But if Grace wasn't meant for the job, if Grace didn't have her personality, wasn't funny, didn't have something to give, she wouldn't have been on the platform, she wouldn't have gotten the job, and she wouldn't be where she is now. Like, yeah, maybe you opened the door for her, but bitch, she walked right through. So she really said it in this way of like ownership and entitlement, and like Grace isn't appreciative of it. And that kind of irked me a little bit, because I'm like, yeah, maybe you got her connections with things and you helped her out, but you can't deny that Grace does have talent, and that's why she got the job, that's why she was your co-host, and that's why she's thriving in a comedy career right now. And that's why most people like her better. It was just a gross thing to say. And another thing with that, adding on to this, is Brie, said, oh, she never defended me online. What a lot of people are pointing out is, well, you've never posted about her comedy career, apparently even one time. Really? So you're expecting Grace, a girl that you basically ended your friendship over a man who was toxic and allegedly abusive. You completely ruined their podcast. You weren't even fucking there, bitch. You would call in and be tired and give nothing, and Grace basically ran all the interviews they did. She really gave nothing to that podcast anymore. Do you really think that Grace is gonna like feel the need to jump to your defense after these things, after you like blatantly neglected her feelings towards the situation of your relationship and whatever happened between her and Zach and her feelings, and then you think that she's gonna like jump and defend you online, and then you're plotting to end the podcast, and you're kind of fucking up things for Grace in a sense and being shady towards Grace. Oh shit, my microphone. And being shady towards Grace. I don't think that's really compelling for someone to risk their career and likeliness for someone who's being a bad friend to them. Like, if I was in Grace's situation and I had a friend or a best friend and they were doing that shit to me, do you think I would just jump on the internet for them and then risk my career and my likeliness for someone who's just being a shit ass friend and I probably don't even agree with defending? Like, be so for real. Like, be so for real. Maybe Grace didn't actually believe in defending you. Like, maybe she thought you were in the wrong for these things. But nonetheless, my point stands. If you're being a shit-ass friend to someone, why the fuck do you think that they're going to risk their motherfucking lives to help you out? Because she owes you for giving her her career? Because she didn't earn it herself? I mean, yeah, you helped Grace start a career, but it's Grace is the one that's actually being successful in it and has talent. A lot of people in this world have connections to get jobs, and that's just the way the world works. Like, she doesn't owe you defending every little move, especially when you're being a shitty ass friend. And let's get into Brie apparently allegedly DMing fans or people that are DMing her about Grace. And then allegedly there's been like 5 or more girls that Brianna has talked to in DMs, basically allegedly saying that Grace is quote unquote evil, a bad person, and we don't know the whole story, and Grace is not who she appears to be.
And now, apparently, Brianna Chicken Fry is DMing her followers, trash-talking Grace. Someone DM'd Brianna asking if one of her stories was insinuating that Grace is toxic. And Brianna said, there are two sides to every story. Clearly, I would never speak online because I'm a good person. Brianna, you are speaking online right now, girl. And then she continued, look where everyone is. Look who everyone unfollowed. Use critical thinking.
And I'm like, if you're gonna say that, if that is really conversations you're having with random fans or people online DMing you, then you're gonna need to come with their seats. Because that's a little crazy to say. Like, what are you talking about? If she is evil and doing all this horrible stuff, can we see, like, what is she doing? You haven't showed us or said anything, and that's like wild to say to people. Like, I literally can't imagine having a random DM to me and then with such a public platform, and then popping off about my ex-best friend / co-host to try to make myself look better and to change the narrative. I'm like, why don't you just tell us what's so bad? Because no one's buying it. From my eyes, most people are team Grace on this one. So that's really weird. That's really weird. What do you guys think about that? Her randomly responding to these DMs and trying to like switch the narrative and say Grace is allegedly evil and whatever. So after this podcast, Grace does the comedy show where she is hilarious and briefly mentions the tiff that's going on between her and Bree. And in this show, she's basically saying that she's going through a divorce and Bree's gonna get the podcast and the kids are gonna decide who they want to go with. And it's hella funny. And it just shows like Grace is just funny and she knows how to handle this situation. Because honestly, having Bree, Dave, and Josh all talk about it without Grace was really weird. It was almost like we're watching people talk behind someone's back, but it's public on a public platform. But what's also really weird about it is Grace at the time was employed by these people, by Barstool. And then it's like watching your company and then your ex-best friend and your ex-boss just talk about you and you're not even there to defend yourself or give your side. And allegedly Bree invited Grace to join the podcast, but people are kind of calling bluff on that because they knew that she was on tour on comedy. Like, she wasn't even in town. Like, she couldn't even make that if she wanted to. So I thought that was really weird. But after that, which I think is an even better move by Grace, is she posted that she is leaving Barstool. She is leaving Barstool. And in my opinion, that is the best thing she could have ever done. And after all of that, and the whole podcast, and the whole drama, and the fucking Plan Bree podcast, yeah, she needed to leave. 100%. That was no longer a welcoming space for her. Because it seems like everyone at Barstool is a fucking Brianna's ass. Which we're going to get into that too. How allegedly Dave has a huge crush on Brianna. Yeah. But she left Barstool. And honestly, I wish Grace nothing but the best and success. I hope her comedy career takes off. She is super funny. And I think people relate to Grace a lot more than Bree. I think Grace is way more relatable, way more humble, and way more real. 100%. And this just reminded me one other thing that Bree said in that podcast that also rubbed me the wrong way, and a lot of people the wrong way, was she mentioned the fact that Grace has never had a boyfriend, so she doesn't know what it's like. She doesn't know what it's like to be in a relationship. She doesn't get it. And I thought that was a really low blow and also tone deaf. I'm like, you don't need to have been in a relationship to see a toxic one. You don't need to have been in a relationship to know someone makes you uncomfortable and treated you wrongly and not want to be in a situation. You don't need to have been in a relationship for that. So that was a really low blow.
She did a low blow. The meanest thing she did was when she was talking to Grace, and how she's like, Grace has never had a boyfriend, so she doesn't
I was
know.
thinking about that too. I think I've just been Grace so many times that it's hard for me to think about the other perspective. I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? But I've been in Grace's position where like you were the one that you're like the underdog, not really appreciated fully, you know, and think that you can just be fine without them, you can move on up. But
yeah,
I've been that girl too often, so I have to stand with her.
I think that's what everyone does, and it's just like Brianna's track record has just been mean girl. And
I'm like, what the fuck what does one have to do with the other? Like, shut up. So rude. So fucking rude. So rude. And I feel like it's just Bree playing like she's better card, like she's the hot friend. It's like time and time again. It's like, shut up, Bree.
This is a petition for everybody to treat O'Malley better. She is being treated like an afterthought. Did you see her series? She was like running around the store trying to find a dress for this People's Choice Award. You're going with somebody who clearly is going to have like hair and makeup and stylists and stuff. Why are you not getting the same benefit? I feel like I want all of the TikTok style, hair, nails, makeup, body positive, blah, blah, blah. I want everyone to rally around O'Malley and give her all the things. I want her dressed by Christian Siriano. I want her hair done by Brad Mondo. I want or Chris Appleton, or whatever the fuck his name is. I want makeup by goddamn Mario doing her makeup, okay? I do not want to see her go through the hectic stress of trying to find a dress in a goddamn department store, and it makes her feel so fucking sad because she's a plus size queen and the stores don't carry her shit.
Like, what the fuck is that? It's so like rude and gross. Like, I did not like that comment at all. It was like so unneeded, doesn't even relate to the subject. No, not for me, not for me. And let's get into, apparently people are thinking that Dave has a huge crush on Bree, which honestly, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of seems that way. First of all, Dave is always defending Brianna so much. Like, every bad take that Brianna has, Dave rushes to defend her. And apparently there was someone that was employed by Barstool who made some kind of joke about Brianna. I forget exactly what it was, but he made some kind of comment about Brianna, like, that Dave didn't like. And that person got fired. Yeah, he got fired from his job from saying a negative comment about Brianna, which apparently it was taken out of context and it wasn't even as bad as it seems. I think it had something to do with fucking even Taylor Swift, but he didn't listen to the whole thing and he just like fired this person. I don't know if this person was ever rehired or what the situation is with that, but it goes that fucking deep. And people are seeing a constant pattern with this. Fucking Dave Portnoy is always just going to bat for Brianna, even overreaching. And people are saying they don't think that this is far off because his fucking ex-wife looks like Brianna Chicken Fry's fucking replica. Like, if they were to do some fucking like wax figure, it'd be that bitch. But this bitch looked like Brianna before surgery. And I mean, allegedly Dave Portnoy likes younger girls. So it's all adding up for him. So I wouldn't be surprised. Now, does Bri like fucking Dave? Who fucking knows? She probably likes him kissing her ass. But now that I'm seeing that, I definitely do think that Dave has something for Brianna. That would make sense to me. But yeah. And then apparently Dave is like leaving the BFF podcast. And it's just going to be Bri and Josh. And maybe they add someone else. And I'm like, I don't know about y'all. I don't even watch that podcast regularly. But I do not want to watch fucking tone deaf Bri and unrelatable Josh talk about things. Sorry. I mean, have these people ever like held any normal jobs? Like, are they relatable in any sense? No. They're just like at this point rich influencers with bad takes. Josh isn't as bad as the rest of them yet. But I'm like, hang out with Brianna. Just give it time, honey. So I feel like that podcast is probably gonna go down the shitters, but I guess we'll see what happens. Definitely don't plan on watching. I guess if more crazy drama pops off, then I guess I'll watch to cover it, but that really does not seem interesting to me at all. So the internet's reacting. From what I've seen, most people are on Team Grace. Tana Mojo has made a lot of TikToks about this, basically saying she's Team Grace. I don't know if she has beef with Brianna or what the deal is, but she's definitely made some things. Trisha Paytas has talked about it on her podcast, basically calling Bri a mean girl and that she's Team Grace. And basically everyone that I've seen is Team Grace. I've seen a few. I mean, actually, I've only seen one comment on a post that said that they were Team Bri. And that's it. Everything else is Team Grace. So people are not having it with Brianna. They're pretty done with the whole situation, and I don't blame them. I mean, how much drama and controversy and just looking like a shit ass person can one person do? I mean, like, we don't feel bad for you. People are saying that Brianna's playing the victim because she does. She was like, oh, the internet hates me. Oh my gosh. Like, they don't understand the situation. Like, no, we understand it. You really just come off as a shit ass person. I don't know what to tell you. Like, oh, you gave up $12 million? That doesn't make you a good person. Like, you totally let us all down with that one. I'm like, at this point, you should have just took the 12 million because you're not changed. You're not getting it. I don't think you ever will. And like, okay, maybe don't take the 12 million. I mean, speak your piece. Don't take like anyone's hush money. But I'm just saying, like, I really don't know where her career is going to go because she keeps getting herself in this situation. And she just keeps coming off unlikable and just coming off so self-absorbed and so delusional and out of touch. I really don't know, like, where it's going to go with her and, like, what's going to happen next. But we're definitely going to keep our eyes out. And unless there's something that I don't know about Grace. I don't know it yet. But as of this point, Team Grace. And I hope that she has much success in her comedy. And people are saying that they want to see her in a Netflix special, honey. And I would watch that for sure. Another thing I guess I could touch on is I don't agree with, you know, Bri and Grace's like promotion of parties and excessive drinking and all that. And they both did that. I wonder how much of an influence Bri was on Grace with all of that, or if Grace was just fully gung-ho on it, or if Bri had an influence in that time of their lives. I kind of wonder the dynamic there, but I hope that Grace moves away from that and just becomes more mature and focuses on her career more. And Grace has now officially signed on to the people that create the Call Her Daddy podcast. I don't know if it's like, I know like they're connected with it. I don't know if like Call Her Daddy, like that's her company or what the deal is, but apparently now Grace works for that organization. Which, if y'all don't know the backstory with Call Her Daddy, which I do not watch that podcast, just to say, like, okay, I don't watch that podcast, but she is really, really big and she gets a lot of views. Now, the tea here with this is Call Her Daddy was originally on Barstool Sports and then left and then blew the fuck up. And on this recent BFF podcast, they were trying to say that these situations with Grace that was on Barstool and is now leaving and signing with Call Her Daddy is not similar at all. Because Call Her Daddy left for monetary reasons. But this is a relationship reason. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can kind of see that. But in the same sense, like, they're pretty comparable. Like, they both were on Barstool, they left, and their careers are probably going to fucking thrive. Like I said before, Grace is making all the right moves. She really is doing the damn thing. It's crazy. Like, this is a huge, huge, huge thing to sign on to something with such a big platform and hopefully support behind her. And leaving Barstool is the best decision Grace could have ever made. Yeah, so I guess that's all I'm going to say. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We would really, really appreciate it. Oh my gosh, so much. Please like this video. It helps us out way more than you know. And please hit the notification button so you never miss a video, since I don't currently have like regular days I upload. I think next year my goal is to like kind of streamline the channel a little more, get more organized, have posting days and all that set up, but just really focus on growing the channel and improving it. But as for now, you know, it's just gonna be a little crazy. It's gonna be a little crazy for a second. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bree, you're not cheese, 'cause cheese is yummy. Bree, you're not cheese, you smell funny. We are Team Grace. We are Team Grace in the United States. Subscribe.